Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. I start off by offering my obeisances to His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu and so many wonderful senior Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis present here. May the right words come at the right time, in the right mood of glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. May it flood our heart with more and more joy and waves of inspiration to serve the divine couple forever. With this being the only intention and aim of our discussion, I beg for your mercy. Please kindly protect and pray and nourish me with your best wishes, prayers and blessings. Sri Jiva Goswami Pad, when he explains the glories of hearing Krishna Katha, he quotes a very beautiful verse which is in the Puranas, composed by Bhagavan Vyasadeva himself. Srila Jiva Goswami Pad invokes the verse which goes as follows. Yatra yatra mahipala vartate Vaishnavi Katha Tatra Tatra Hariryati Gauryatha Sutavatsala. So Bhagavan Vyasadeva writes, Yatra Yatra Mahipala, O dear king, wherever Vartate Vaishnavi Katha, wherever Hari Katha goes on, whichever place, whichever hall, whichever temple, whichever home, whichever congregation, whichever place where devotees congregate and Hari Katha goes on, Tatra Tatra Harihi Yati. Krishna comes there for sure. Wherever, whenever Krishna Katha is spoken, Vaishnavi Katha, it has to be authentic Shastriya Katha, based on Shastra, based on Vaishnav conclusions. The perfection of Hari Katha or the ingredients of Hari Katha are, it must speak about Bhagavan through and through. There should not be change of topics, one. And second, by hearing Hari Katha, the truths of Shastra must be revealed as conclusion to the listener, which means it must be in line with Shastric conclusion. There must be attachment to Krishna and detachment from this world. These are ingredients of Hari Katha given in Shastra. Krishna Seva Vasana, the desire to serve Krishna must rise by hearing Krishna Katha. By hearing Krishna Katha, one should have conviction. One should develop conviction that Bhagwan, Thakurji, Shri Brajendranandan, Shyam Sundar, Yashodanandan, Bal Gopal, Shri Krishna is my Ishtadev, is my worshipable deity, and I belong to him. One must have virakti, janayityasu vairagyam jnanam yacha haitukam. From the material plane there must be detachment, and from the spiritual plane there must be attachment to Krishna. Detachment from this world, attachment to Krishna, in line with conclusion of Shastra, and desire to serve Krishna. Now serving Krishna means Krishna Anushilanam. In that commentary to Anyabhilashita Shunyam, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti and Sri Jiva Goswami Pad they have described that Krishna Anushilanam means everyone included, connected to Krishna. One must have desire to serve Tulsi, one must have desire to serve Vaishnavas, desire to serve Guru, desire to serve the cows, the deities, the holy name, everything is included in that. So by hearing Krishna Katha, if these conclusions are coming out, then it is perfection. This must be done from an authentic source, without ulterior agenda, and it must be done for a long time, and it must be done with faith and love towards the speaker who is sharing it. All of that is important. If one is coming to the discussion, let's say to collect points, but one doesn't have so much faith in the person who is the medium, then what will happen is those truths will come to the ear but will not go into the heart. Because there is some anadara, there is some disrespect which is blocking that flow. So Srila Jiva Goswami Pad has said, wherever there is Hari Katha, which is spoken with all these considerations, tatra tatra harihi yati, Krishna is present there for sure. And the example is, go yatha sutavatsala. Just like when you take the calf, the cow must come behind. Sutavatsala. Go means cow. The G was taken and the C was put, and that's how we got the word cow. The original Sanskrit word is go. From the word paramount, parama, you get the word paramount. So there are many words like that. From pitri, you get paternal. From matri, you get maternal. From bhratri, you get fraternal, friends and brothers. So the vyutpatti, the original word is in Sanskrit. Go yatha sutavatsala. Just like the cow follows the calf, you take the calf away, the cow will run. Similarly, Hari Katha is the calf. And wherever that calf is respected, the cow Sri Hari will follow. So thank you for giving us the opportunity to be in the association of Vaishnavas in this presence, where there's calf and cow freely frolicking in the pastures of New Goloka Dham. Krishna climbed up the Kadamba tree, and from there we're not going to do it again. He splashed into the water. And he proved how he's the avatar. Because avatar is defined as nishprapanchat prapanche avatarati iti avataraha. He who comes from that world into this world is an avatar. So Krishna showed everyone through this Leela how he jumps into this world. From the Kadamba tree, when he jumped into the Yamuna, it was the avatar from the spiritual world jumping into the polluted world, the material existence. To take away the material influences, the Kala Bhima Bhujaga, the dark serpent Kali's snake of Kāliya out, and protecting the devotee called Yamuna. This is why Krishna comes. So the Acharyas describe, he proved that he's an avatar by jumping. And it's interesting, when Krishna jumped into the water, he was not poisoned. This also shows us that when Bhagavan and his pure representatives come in this world, the three modes of material nature don't act on them. Krishna is swimming in the same pond as others tried to swim, the fishes and others. But the fishes got poisoned, but Krishna did not. We live in this world, we are tossed by the waves of Rajogun and Tamogun, but when Bhagavan comes in this world, he is not. I heard this example that I'm about to say many years ago. I remember when I used to go to iskcon Juhu, Radha Rasbihari temple in Mumbai. One very senior Vaishnav, he used to preach with so much compassion. He used to come home and speak Bhagavatam. From him, I for the first time heard the story of Chitraketu Maharaj. And I was amazed how long a narration this was. Because I heard about Vritrasur, and he narrated it so wonderfully. Because that was the first time I was hearing, and the twists and turns in those chapters in the 6th canto are amazing, breathtaking. Just the twists of how many times Indra had to go to what he went through, I was amazed. So I'm remembering that Prabhu with so much reverence. I had asked him once, So pure devotees, when they come in this world, do Rajogun and Tamogun act on them? And he said no, and he gave me an example, which I'm remembering with so much reverence and gratitude today as I'm repeating it so many years later. He said, many of our temple book distributors, they go into the jail and they distribute Bhagavad Gita. And he asked me, if the devotee goes into the jail and distributes Bhagavad Gita, does he become a prisoner himself? And I said, no. He said, but he's in the jail. I said, but he doesn't belong to the jail. He said, that's the point. He said, he's going in to benefit those who are living in the jail. So devotees come in this world to benefit, pure devotees come, acharyas come in this world to benefit all of us who are prisoners in this world. We belong here in the sense we have spent so many millions of lifetimes here. But pure devotees are those book distributors who come in this world, but the rules of the prison don't act on them. So Krishna like that jumped in, so many lessons come out in Krishna jumping into the pond. He jumped into the Yamuna. And how wonderfully he was frolicking. The contrast can be seen between the poison that Kāliya was spitting and the sweetness Krishna was emanating. Krishna was doing backstroke. He was splashing water. He was spitting water. He was going underwater and the friends were looking at Krishna and he would come out from the other end. He was doing all forms of flips to impress his friends. His garland was going in one direction, his dhoti was in the other direction. He didn't care. He was just putting all of that together and he continued to swim. This was really agitating Kāliya. Kāliya and all of his friends and family and disciples and followers, one after another, they were spreading this message that there's some foreign alien body into our territory. Extraordinary alien body into our territory. Krishna had the complexion of Kāliya and Krishna had the complexion of Yamuna. He was taking sides with both. As the poison started spreading, as the water started bubbling, the froth and the foam and the smoke and all the vapor started rising. The water was boiling with the temperature of the breathing in and out of all these poisonous, venomous snakes. Krishna was unaffected. Kāliya, little by little by little by little, he started rising. And in this verse that we chanted, he was rising little by little. And Phana Shringa Sahasra Vinisrimara, with Sahasra Phana, with thousands and thousands of hoods. Bhagavatam describes Kāliya had 1,000 hoods, where 101 were the prominent hoods. So 1,000 hoods and 2,000 eyes. You can imagine how horrifying that is. And he's boiling hot. Flames of anger being spit through his eyes. Through his nostril and through his mouth, there's so much poison, so much fire, causing havoc. And Jwalat Agni Kana Ugra Vishambudharam. Flames were flying in the water. Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo. Vari became Tej. Water was being split like flames there, sparks, because of his poison. And Bahu Shringanam Anjana Shailamiva. Anjana means dark complexion and Shaila means mountain. He was a black, huge mountain with thousands and thousands of peaks, with volcano erupting from each one of them. How magnificently horrifying. And Krishna, on the other hand, contrast, was Prekshaniya Sukumara Ghanavadatam. He was softer than a lotus petal. Because all, Jaisa an vaisa man. You are what you eat. What does Krishna eat? Butter. His body is soft as butter. Even when Krishna plays the flute, sometimes under the trees, and the tree reciprocates by dropping a little leaf, the leaf comes floating in the air to reciprocate to Krishna, and it falls on Krishna's forearm as he's completely absorbed playing the flute. And at the end, when he removes that leaf, the shape and the details of that leaf are imprinted on his forearm. That's how soft Krishna's skin is. Can you imagine Krishna's face? Can you imagine Krishna's heart? So soft. But the nature of the Lord is ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tataiva bhajamiham. The softest lotus can become the most hardest thunderbolt, depending on who comes in front of him. Those same lotus feet, which for the gopis, yatte sujata charanamburu hamsthaneshu. For the gopis, that same lotus feet of Krishna was so soft that they were fearing when Krishna walks through the forests of Braj. There are so many pebbles and there are sharp grass and shoots and rocks. They may cut the sole of Krishna's feet. Trinachara anugam Sriniketanam. Krishna, you walk behind the cows who walk behind grass. And the cows have hoofs. So they can jump between rocks and eat the grass. But Krishna doesn't have hoofs. The cows run behind the grass are found between the rocks. They don't get hurt, but poor Bal Gopal, he runs behind these cows and he may have scratches on the sole of his feet. The gopis are saying, that's Krishna, your feet are precious to us. We want to keep your feet in our heart. Jadi tumar pada dvaya, karo taha udaya, tave tumar purna kripa mani. Hey Krishna, please place your lotus feet in our heart. But still they feel, our heart is burning in the fire of separation from you. So maybe that's also a very hot place for your very soft, tender feet. But those same feet, which for the gopis were softer than butter and softer than lotus, for Kāliya it became harder than a thunderbolt. It will very soon. Hasn't happened yet, but will. In this contrast, looking at Kāliya in front of Krishna, both are looking eye to eye and Krishna is smiling. He's looking at Kāliya as if, what do you have to say, Mr. Kāliya? He's looking eye to eye in front of Kāliya, and for Kāliya it's infuriating. It's too much. A little child not getting poison coming in, first of all coming into my pond without my approval. And now he's acting so weird in Kāliya's terms. The more Krishna's smiling, the more Kāliya's getting angry. Have you had people like that? Where you smile in a fight and somebody you're fighting with gets mad at you because you're smiling? They try to tell you something and you're like, okay. What okay? And you say, hey, no problem. What are you smiling? I'm talking to you. Haribol. We have little experience, right? Some experience. Kāliya was getting infuriated. Krishna started adding more salt to the wound by splishing and splashing water on Kāliya. So much so that the Acharyas write, Krishna started swimming, making musical notes. Sa. And he's going around Kāliya. Kāliya now is going to take some time to turn because he has 1,000 hoods. Krishna has one head. He always tries to have enmity with people who have more heads than him. Same with Ravana. Ramachandra Ravana. 10 heads for Ravana. Here 1,000 heads for Kāliya. Krishna is Re. And by the time he's spinning around and Kāliya looks, Krishna is already here. Ga. Musical notes. And Kāliya is very angry with territorial consciousness. How dare, stop spinning, stop playing, stop singing, don't stop talking. First tell me why and how dare you come into my pond. Srila Prabhupada writes about this. In Canto 2, Chapter 9, Text 3. And I quote, Srila Prabhupada's purport. In the lower stage of human life, misconception is also prominent in the shape of it is my body, it is my house, it is my family, it is my caste, it is my nation, it is my country, it is my lake, Kāliya, and so on. And in the higher stage of speculative knowledge, the same misconception of mine is transformed into I am, or it is all I am. There are many classes of men comprehending the same misconception of I and mine in different colors. Wow. Different cultures around the world. Aham and mama. I and mine goes on. But the real significance of I, Prabhupada writes, can be realized only when one is situated in the consciousness that I am the eternal servitor of the Lord. Let's repeat that. I am the eternal servitor of the Lord. This is pure consciousness, says Prabhupada, and the whole Vedic literature teaches this conception of life. Doesn't Bhagavad Gita also start with Mamaka Pandavaschaiva? Where Dhritarashtra, Prabhupada writes, is not just materially blind, but also spiritually blind. Because he's talking about my sons and the sons of Pandu. In the Garga Samhita, it is described that there was a sage by the name Vedashira. And Vedashira was performing meditation in one ashram. And as he was meditating there for a few years, few thousands of years, he wanted to now take a break and go to different pilgrimage places. By the time he went and swung by and came back to his hermitage, there was another sage called Ashvashira already occupied his hermitage. And now he was sitting in the ashram of Vedashira and meditating. Vedashira said, "That's my ashram." Ashvashira said, "But I came before you. You're intruding. You just came." When Ashvashira said this, Vedashira said, "I left, therefore you came. It's not that you came and then I came. I left, then you came, so it's mine." Ashvashira said, "You're a sadhu? Doesn't seem like." Vedashira said, "Yes, I have been meditating here for long. I am a sadhu." Ashvashira said, "What are you meditating on?" Vedashira said, "On Vishnu." Ashvashira said, "So don't you believe that Vishnu owns everything in this world?" Vedashira said, "Yes." Ashvashira said, "What about your ashram then? Does it still belong to you or does it belong to Vishnu?" Vedashira said, "It belongs to Vishnu, but he has given it to me, so it's mine." Ashvashira took water from his kamandalu and pronounced a curse and cursed Vedashira, the sadhu who was originally sitting. So Ashvashira gets into the hermitage of Vedashira and curses Vedashira, "You are so territorially conscious. You think about your own ashram, I, me, mine, I curse you. May you be a snake in your next life, looking for your own snake holes." Vedashira said, "Hari Bol, I thought I'm going to Vaikuntha, but seems like I'm going into a snake pit. Okay, I have a kamandalu too. Hari Bol, let me decide where you go now." He put his hand and he told Ashvashira, "Because you're finding faults with me who has no faults, I curse you to be a crow. Keep picking on faults of others." They both cursed each other. Vedashira got cursed to be a snake and Ashvashira got cursed to be a crow. And at the end, after the curse game, they put their kamandalu down and they both looked at each other and said, "Please forgive me, I don't know what I did." So after all the dishum, Srinadapi Sunishena verse rose in their heart and they fell at each other's feet and said, "Please forgive me, but I can't take my words back. I want to, but I can't because I've already pronounced them. I don't know why I did this. I am so sinful." The other person said, "No, I am sinful. I am the one who first cursed you." But he said, "No, but I am sinful." And they went back and forth and Vishnu manifested there. Bhagavan Narayana said, Okay. It was my desire that these words come from your mouth. Oh dear crow, you will be a crow called Kakabhushundi in Rama Avatar. And you will be vibrating the glories of Ram Nam. And oh dear snake, you will be Kāliya living in the Jamuna in the presence of Krishna Leela, and I myself will come and stamp your heads with the dust of my lotus feet. So both got their own positions. But Vedashira was cursed to be a snake and become Kāliya because of territorial consciousness. Ayam nija paroveti gananam laghuchetasam udara charitanam tu vasudha eva kutumbakam. The more one practices bhajan, the heart lotus opens more and more, and the radius of compassion increases. Initially, the person is so self-centric. He only thinks about my career, my bank account, my car, my to-do list, my life. But then when starts chanting, then he starts thinking, the radius increases. Then it becomes, okay, my wife, my children, my parents, and not just from a material plane, but from a spiritual plane. Then it increases further. It starts to think, okay, my neighbors, my community, a new bhakti vriksha in the locality. Then the person starts to think even further. Maybe this whole country can become Krishna conscious. Maybe the whole world can become Krishna conscious. Sthavara jangama dekhe na dekhe tara murti. May the animals start to dance. May the trees become devotees. Mahaprabhu had the power to make even animals and birds and insects dance. To increase the radius of compassion is devotion, where we are able to think of everyone except our own selfish needs. We are ready to become like a candle, giving light to others and melting in the process of compassion, where the heart melts only to give light to others. Kāliya, with that territorial consciousness, starts looking at Krishna. And it's described as Krishna and Kāliya look eye to eye, and Krishna is playing with Kāliya. His desire is first to exhaust Kāliya of all his energy. By then, the Gopas are standing on the banks of the Yamuna, and they're looking, what did our Gopal do? And it's described. Jalashaye Kāliya Mardanaya Yada Kadambada Patan Murare Gopanganascha Krushuretya Gopa Govinda Damodar Madhaveti Shri Krishna Vishnu Madhukaitha Bhare Shri Krishna Bhaktanukampin Bhagavan Murare Traya Swamam Keshavalokhanatha Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. Let's sing in one voice together. Govinda Damodar Madhaveti. Govinda Damodar. The Gopas are calling out to Krishna. Oh Govinda, oh Damodar, oh Madhava. This is a beautiful verse composed by Sri Bilva Mangal Thakur, where he says, Jalashaye Kāliya Mardanaya Yada Kadambad Apatan Murare. When Krishna jumped into the Kāliya, the Gopas, the Gopis, the whole of Vrindavan called out, Chakrushu Etya Gopa. They're crying out, calling out, Krishna, what did you do? Please come back. As soon as Krishna jumped in, and the Gopas and the cows were looking at the scene, those Gopas and those cows previously who had fainted and come back to life, looking at this, it is described, they fell down like uprooted trees. The cows fell down, the Gopas fell down, some of them started crying and they fell down. It's described, some fell down like creepers and some fell down like uprooted trees in the presence of a severe windstorm. Krishna came very close to Kāliya. The Acharyas describe, Krishna looked at Kāliya and said, "You think I'm afraid of you? Why don't you bite here? Oh, why don't you bite here?" Kāliya said, "How dare you speak to me like this?" Krishna said, "Oh, you got insulted? You feel I was insulting you? I've just come to play with you. By the way, do you really think I'm afraid of you? Why don't you bite here?" Krishna started teasing. And it's described at that time, Kāliya, with all his envious power, with poisonous, massive, very dangerous fangs, he lunged close to Krishna and bit him forcibly on the chest. And this happened, and the Gopas who were still standing, what just happened? Kāliya did bite Krishna on the chest, and at that time, Krishna little by little started to float in the waters of the Jamuna with that one bite of Kāliya. And Kāliya very quickly wrapped Krishna up by the tip of the tail of his coils. In no time, with his massive grip, Kāliya encoiled Krishna in his grip. And there was Krishna completely covered by the coils of Kāliya, who was so massive. Krishna was so small, and he was completely head to toe covered by the coils of Kāliya, except little part of his face which was visible, and that also with eyes closed. Krishna had his eyes closed, and his whole body was completely covered and eclipsed by Kāliya's very poisonous, black, massive, humongous, gigantic, dangerous coils. Vrindavan Dham had a heart attack. Yoga Maya Shakti started creating inauspicious omens. There were inauspicious omens in the form of earthquake. The heartbeat of Vrindavan stopped. There was earthquake, jackals. This was daytime, but jackals started howling at the sun. The sun had started getting dull and dim and gloomy, and the sky became dark and smoky. In no time, severe breeze turned to intense, harsh winds. Peacocks, parrots, monkeys, even bumblebees stopped to breathe, because Krishna, who's the life of their life, Prananath, Brajanath, Gopinath, Krishna had stopped breathing in the coils of Kāliya. The whole of Vrindavan stopped. Meteors were falling from the sky. The demigods skipped a beat. They were thinking, what happened? They were looking from the top this whole pastime. As soon as Krishna jumped into the Yamuna, they thought he shouldn't have done that. But when he started to play, they were thinking, okay, it's not that bad. But as soon as with one bite, Kāliya lunged with his tongue, which was flittering in and out of his mouth. Kāliya was very wickedly licking his lips with his bifurcated tongue in a sense of achievement, as fire flames continued in intensity to be spit out of his mouth. When these things started happening, the left side for men started twitching. Their thighs, their eyes, their hand started twitching, and the right side for Matajis. So many inauspicious signs were seen, and as soon as it is described, the Brajvasis started feeling a change of weather. In no time, they started looking at the sky, they started hearing the ow jackal sound. They heard such inauspicious howling. They saw the sun was gone. They saw the harshness of the breeze. They were feeling the earthquakes. They were feeling the twitches. everybody ran from their individual houses and came to Nanda Bhavan, asking Nanda and Yashoda only one question: is Krishna safe? They didn't care about any person, anybody else, including their own children. They asked Nanda and Yashoda only one question: is Gopal safe? Why do we feel there's something wrong? Some even came and asked their first question as, is Balaram not with Krishna today? And when Nanda and Yashoda heard these questions coming up, Hridayani bhavantihi, Rupa Goswami Pad writes, Amangala Shanka Bandhun Hridayani bhavantihi. Whenever something gets delayed and you have love for the person, automatically the mind starts thinking of all the negative causes. Imagine children who are supposed to come at 4:30 from school, it's already 5:15 and they haven't come. The mind doesn't think, maybe he's staying in school doing homework. The mind doesn't think, oh, maybe he's taking extra classes. The mind starts to think, wait a minute, what about other students? They've all come from that same school bus. Now you call them and said, was my son there in that bus? And they said, no, auntie, he wasn't there. Okay, then you rush to the school, you ask the doorkeeper, you ask the security, you ask the CCTV cameras, did you see my son? Oh, he was there around, I don't know, but he left at 3:45. There was another uncle who had come to pick him up. And your heart starts to feel the worst possible ache. Where are these emotions coming from? They are all parts of the portions of the feelings of the Brajbasis. It is described, the Brajbasis, when they started asking Nanda and Yashoda, just the thought made Mother Yashoda faint in the arms of Nanda Maharaj. Her breathing had slowed down. Just with the thought that yes, Krishna is not home and Balaram is home, this cannot happen. He can get lucky all the time. He got lucky when Putana came. He got lucky when Shakatasur came. He got lucky when Trinavarth came. He can get lucky all the time. He got lucky when the 2 trees fell. And interestingly, they fell. He was around, but he was not hurt. The whole cart collapsed. And all the kids said, auntie, auntie, unhone pair mara. The whole cart collapsed. And Krishna was safe. This can't happen all the time. He can be protected all the time, which means today it's done. Nanda and Yashoda and the Brajbasis are weeping. And immediately they decide, let's rush. Let's rush. Let's go in different directions. Let's go find Gopal. But how do you find him? How do you find him? There's no way you can ask him. There's no way you can ask those who know. Nobody's around. The cows are not around. The gopas are not around. Krishna's not around. Balaram is around, but he didn't go with them. They decide, let's just follow through Krishna's footprints. Let's just walk to those places where Krishna's soft, tender lotus feet has imprinted the dust of Vrindavan. Krishna is so dear to the Brajbasis that once he steps on the dust of Vrindavan, Vrindavan Dham holds that imprint of Krishna's lotus feet with all those signs and symbols for all times to come. Sri Hari Suri Ji writes, Bhumi Devi is Varaha Dev's eternal wife, Lakshmi. So Bhumi is the eternal consort for Krishna. And at the same time, Vrindavan is her forehead. And Krishna's footprint is her sindoor. As long as the husband is alive, the wife continues in affectionate reverence. So Krishna, wherever he steps, Bhumi Devi would hold the sindoor of Krishna's footprint. Even the cows, even the other animals, when they're walking, now imagine, 999,000 cows, only to Nanda Maharaj. And they all have 4 feet. Now they're all walking with bells jingling on their neck. They're walking every single day, but it's described in the Shastras. They're so careful, not one cow, not one calf, with not one foot stepping, overstepping on the imprint of Krishna's soft lotus feet, signs and symbols preserved by Vrindavan Dham. So wherever Krishna steps, Charan Pahadi, it's imprinted forever. So the Brajbasi said, let's follow through, let's go through, find Krishna through his footprints. Now, how do you know Krishna's footprints? You don't have to do it right now. But when you go home, you can see the sole of your feet. You can see for different signs and symbols at the sole of your feet. And we don't have any, right? But Krishna has beautiful footprints. He has so many imprints and signs and symbols on his left foot and his right foot that Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur composes a verse describing the signs and symbols on the sole of Krishna's feet, seeing which the Brajbasis walked. Chandrardham kalasham trikona dhanushi kham goshpadam proshthika shankam savyapade tha dakshinapade Konashtakam swastikam Chakram chhatrayavankusham dhvajapavi Jamburdhvare khambujam Bibhranam harim unavimshati maha Lakshmyarchitangrim bhaje. How can somebody compose a verse like this? You have to include all the signs and symbols of the left foot and right foot, and you can't jumble them. All of them in one foot, they have to come one after another in the words. And all in the right foot has to come one after another in the words, in the same order. And you also have to say, I bow down to the Lord who has these signs at the sole of his feet. And you have to keep the meter Shardula Vikriditam as it is. It's not like a tabular column, 1, 2, 3, 4. You compose a verse out of it. This is Vishwanath Chakravarti's brilliance. How much they love Krishna that they spend time living in the shade of the Kalpavriksha trees of Vrindavan, writing a verse on the signs and symbols of the sole of the lotus feet of Krishna. How much love? Look at what he says. Chandrardham. Ardham, half. Chandra, sun. Right? Everyone awake? Chandra means moon. And Ardham means half. So Krishna has a crescent moon, half moon. Kalasham, a water pot, kalash. So that's the second sign. Third, Trikona. Three corners, triangle. Dhanushi, bow, very good. Kham mano buddhi revacha. Sky, outer space, sky, yes. Goshpadam, cow, hoof print, yes. Proshtikam, that's a tough one. Fish. Sanskrit is such a refined language. Just to say something fishy, fish, you say proshtika. Very refined. So Chandrardham kalasham trikona dhanushi kham goshpadam proshtikam. How many done? Chandrardham, Kalasham, Trikona, Dhanushi, Kham, Goshpadam, Proshtikam. 7. Shankham, conch. Very good. So that's 8. Okay? And that's Savyapade. Bhuje Savya Venum. What does Savya mean? Savya Shachi. Left, right? So Savyapade, all of these signs are on the sole of Krishna's left foot. Okay, Atha, now Dakshinapade. Vishwanath Chakravarti says, now let's start the right foot. What are there on the right foot? Kona Ashtakam. Kona Ashtakam. Kona means triangle. Ashtakam, 8 corners. So if you put a triangle and 8 thing around and a structure around, it makes it to a 8-pointed star. That is Konashtakam. And swastika, the sign, the swastik mark. The second. Third, chakram. Chakram? Yes, disc or wheel. Yes, like the Sudarshan chakra. So that's 3. Fourth, chhatra. Umbrella. Very good. 5, yava. A barley corn. A little grain, a barley corn. Ankusham. Elephant goad, that which is used to control the elephant. Very good. Dhwaja. Flag. Pavi. Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. Jambu. Yes, jambu fruit. Very good. Urdhva rekha. Very simple. Urdhva means upward. Rekha means line. Yes, there's a very nice, beautiful line that's there on the sole of Krishna's feet. It comes from the top, goes down to show that Krishna has so much magnanimity, he can pick those who are fallen. All these signs have meanings. And Ambujam, lotus. Yes, very good. So how many is that? Konashtakam, Swastikam, Chakram, Chhatra, Yava, Ankusha, Dhwaja, Pavi, Jambu, Urdhva Rekha and Ambujam. That is 11. So 11 on the right and 8 on the left makes it 19. And the word for 19 is Una Vimshati. That's also, Chakravarti Pad has used that word also in the 4th line. These 19 symbols. Vimshati is 20, Una Vimshati is 19. One shot. Bibranam Harim, to that Hari who holds all these symbols on his right and left foot, 19 symbols. And Mahalakshmi Archita Angrim, that Sri Hari whose lotus feet is worshipped and massaged by Mahalakshmi. Tam Harim Aham Bhaje, I worship that Hari. How many of you like this verse? So beautiful, right? So if you memorize this one verse, you know the signs and symbols on the right and left foot of the sole of Krishna's lotus feet. Next time you go to Vrindavan, fall on your knees like Akrura and look for these signs and symbols. And lo and behold, if you find even one out of those 19, Krishna is very close. Let's sing this together in one voice. Chandrardham kalasham trikona dhanushi kham goshpadam proshtikam Pade tadakshina pade Chakram Rekhambujam The Brajbasis followed through in all directions, seeking the trail of these different imprints. It was a very long, very long dramatic search. Why? Because they would find those imprints and it would make them fall there crying, Krishna, Krishna, will I not ever be able to see these imprints again? And then hearing the name Krishna chanted by someone else, they would get up again and again start crawling. And it's described, infants were carried by their mothers, small children were crawling, those who could run started to run, everyone from the child up to grandfathers in all homes, they started running out with this search of where is Gopal, where is Yashoda Nandan. That's the only thing. Yad dhamartha surit priyatma tanaya pranashayastvat krite. The Brajbasis love Krishna so much that Brahmaji, when he was offering his prayers to Krishna, Krishna was feeling bored. He was feeling bored because he was playing with his friends, and here now Brahmaji is offering prayers. So Krishna's looking at Brahma. Baby Gopal. He wants to go and play. And he's looking, and Naumi Dyate Bravapushe, one after another prayers are offered by Brahmaji, who's just got off his swan. And Krishna's looking at Brahma thinking, now that's the last verse. I need to go. And as a child, he's looking at Brahma and he's looking at his friends, and the friends are like, because they're talking to one another. Who is this four-headed fellow? We have never seen him. Another boy says, neighboring village. He's from another village. He's not from our village. These boys are all speculating on who Brahmaji is. And Brahmaji there with tears in his eyes, he's begging Krishna, Krishna, you are so great. You are the creator of everything. Only if somebody can take reversals in their life as your mercy, te anukampa. And Krishna's thinking, okay. Ashtakam? 8 verses done, now let me go. And he's looking at the friends. Friends are like, when do you have time to befriend such people? I don't know. When did you even meet him? How does he know you? And when Brahmaji sees that Krishna is distracted, in the sense he's positively attracted, Brahmaji says, Aho bhagyam nanda gopa brajaukasam yan mitram paramanandam purna brahma sanatanam. Aho bhagyam nanda gopa brajaukasam. How fortunate are they that they have befriended Bhagavan on equal status. Our acharyas write, Brahmaji said aho bhagyam twice. To say once, O Krishna, they are fortunate to get you. Second, Krishna, you are fortunate to get them. This you don't get in any abode, O Gopal. You don't get this in Ayodhya. You don't get this in Vaikuntha. How fortunate. Krishna, you are lucky to be in Vrindavan. Brahmaji says, Tadbhuri bhagyamiha janma kimapyatavyam yad gokulepi katam angri rajo bhishekam. O Krishna, this life I am Brahma, but next life, please give me the opportunity to get the dust of the lotus feet of the Brajbasis on my head. That's all that I want. I want the love that they have for you. Esham ghosha nivasinam uta bhavan. Brahmaji says, how fortunate, Krishna, are you that you live in Vrindavan and the Brajbasis have so much love for you. You see, separation is seen, as our Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was explaining so beautifully. Separation is seen in the Leelas of the Lord. Whether it is Ramachandra and Mother Sita, or whether it is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Vishnu Priya Devi, or whether it is the residents of Vrindavan and Shyamasundar, Sri Krishna. And in separation, in these dark phases of anxiety, is where their supremely glorious love comes out. Somebody may think, why is Krishna doing this to the Brajbasis? The Brajbasis love Krishna so much, and Krishna's on purpose putting all of them through torture. He could just enter the pond, kick Kāliya on the head, kick him out, purify, make Yamuna so beautiful, tell Kāliya, you leave, now go back to Ramanak Islands, and the Brajbasis won't even get to know. But no. He will create light, sound, camera, action. The Devatas are sitting up there just to control light, camera, meteors falling. Earthquakes in Vrindavan. Why does he do this? Look at the state of the Brajbasis. They love Krishna so much and they're all uprooted now. The trees are gone. The cows are fainting. The boys are frothing. Every resident of Vrindavan is going through excruciating thunderbolt pain and separation from Krishna. They don't even know where he is. And they're all walking and crawling, seeing his footsteps, and then they don't see those footsteps, and they're again frantically searching, and then they find again footprints because he's jumped. Or he's crossed through grass which has not caught those footprints. Why does Krishna do this? more the hunger, tastier the prasadam. Sri Kavi Karnapur has given a brilliant example. So beautiful. So beautiful. He says, when the sun rises, everyone feels happy, right? When you see sunrise, everyone feels happy. You don't feel scared, you don't feel afraid, you don't feel anxious anymore. But when the sun sets and the whole sky becomes dark, whoever we may be, wherever we may be, somehow the sense of loneliness, isolation, negativity, insecurity, sadness, anxiety sets in. Sri Kavi Karnapur gives this example to say, Krishna puts the residents of Vrindavan through a whole night of darkness so that when he comes back to them, it is the rising of the sun. When they go through the phase of darkness, they go through the phase of grief, then when meeting with Krishna comes in, that's like the rising of the sun from the dark sky, and it makes the person so much more happy. But when that same Krishna again goes through difficulty, it's like the sun which gave you so much joy has set now, and the person goes through so much pain only for the sun to rise again. So union and separation goes in like from the dark sky to the sunrise, and from the sunrise to the sunset back to the dark sky. And union and separation continues, because the more there is separation, union becomes sweeter. Na vina vipralambhena sambhogam pushtimashnute. Sri Rup Goswami Pad says, without separation there cannot be sweetness in meeting. Just like when you take an axe or a saw and you cut wood, you go forward and you go backward, and you go forward and you go backward, and you go forward and you go backward, and you go forward and you go backward. The more you go forward and the more you go backward, one thing is for sure, the wood gets cut deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Krishna Prem wood goes deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper when there's union with Krishna and there's separation from Krishna, and there's union with Krishna and there's separation from Krishna, and this makes the Krishna Prem log of wood go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. The Brajavasis were through so much pain. This land of Vrindavan is glorious because the Brajvasis love Krishna so much. Sri Ras Khan, a very exalted poet in Vrindavan, he says, my dear Lord, my only desire is, if I become a human being in my next life, make me a cowherd boy in Vrindavan. Oh Krishna, if I become a human being, please make me a gopa. Oh Krishna, but if you say I don't deserve to be a human being, you can make me an animal, but promise me to make me a calf in your team, so I will be touched by your lotus palms, O Gopal. If you say that's not possible, Krishna, please make me a stone, but make me a stone at the foothill of Giriraj Govardhan. Krishna, if you say I'm going to become a bird in my next life, please make me a bird on the branches of the Kadamba tree on the banks of the Yamuna. But in all cases, my dear Lord, let me live in Vrindavan lifetime after lifetime and associate with those who love you selflessly. The Brajvasis went through so much pangs. It is described finding through all the different footprints. They finally came. And Shukadev Goswami says, Tam naga bhoga parivitam adrishta cheshtham alokya tat priya sakha pashupa brishartha Krishner pitatma suridartha kalatra kama Dukkhanushoka bhaya mudha dhiyo nipetu. All the Brajvasis finally came to the banks of the Yamuna after a long, arduous, dramatic search. It took many, many hours for them to reach. They didn't know where Krishna was. They somehow found out and they came. And when they came, the first thing that they saw on the path were cows which had fallen. And they were thinking, what's wrong with these cows? And then when they walked further ahead, they saw boys who were all fallen. Why these two falls have been described? One by the poison of the Yamuna and now by the poison of separation. To show that the first poison was nothing compared to the second poison. This is why the contrast has been given. In the first poison, when the cows and the boys drank the water from the Yamuna, it didn't hurt them because they woke up with, remember? Krishna, you should taste this, it's beautiful. But now they were gone. They were tossed out completely. Krishna Prem Thunderbolt had this viraha, vedana, the pain of separation, and hit their heart. And every devotee has to go through this someday. Every devotee. Before we go back home, back to God, it comes a long phase where the person becomes mad in pain, trying to find Krishna. We all have to walk this path of finding Krishna in our life like the Brajbasis did. Now how do we find Krishna? By his footprints. Simple. Well, but how do we know where his footprints are? Nirapeksham munim shantam nirvairam samadarshina anuvrajamyaham nityam puyayityanghrirenubihi. Wherever pure devotees walk, Krishna walks behind them. So where you find pure devotees, there you'll find Krishna's footprints. Padbhyam chalanyo pratima swarupo brahmanya devo hi shataha gamyam desham yayo viprakrite bhuteham tam sakshi gopalam aham natosmi. Gopal walked as Sakshi Gopal deity for 100 days behind the devotee. Right? We all are aware of this story, right? Sakshi Gopal ki? Yeah. The Vaishnav walked and Sakshi Gopal walked behind him to teach for all times to come to the whole world. If you want to find me through my footprints, I will tell you where my footprints are. My footprints are following the footprints of my pure devotee. So, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoye Sadhu Sangha. Krishna Prema Janmete Ho Punarmukhya Anga. The most important principle on the path of bhajan is the association of those who love Krishna. Bas. Vina Mahat Pada Rajobhishekam. Mahi Asam Pada Rajobhishekam. Everybody is saying the same thing. Prahlad Maharaj is saying the same thing. Jada Bharat is saying the same thing. Chaitanya Charitamrita is saying the same thing. Only if we can find those who love Krishna and we be in their association, if we can be in their association, we live in the association of their instructions. To the seriousness that we have in following the instructions of those who love Krishna, that quickly are we following the footprints to find Krishna in Vrindavan. We all have to crawl our way. Yes, we have to chant and be happy. But before that happiness, we chant and we cry and we weep and we long and we yearn and we aspire. And there is some pain and separation. Now we will say, well, I don't want to be sorrowful. I don't want to be filled with grief. Srila Sanatana Goswami gives another reconciliation. So that will comfort our heart. Srila Sanatana Goswami in Brihat Bhagavatamrita, he says, when there's a slab of ice, it's very cold, very, 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 very cold. He says there are times when you touch it and you get burnt. There is no heat. It's so cold. How can it cause heat? He says that heat is only imaginary. You feel it, but it doesn't exist. Similarly, when a Vaishnav loves Krishna, his heart becomes a block of joy, ice. But externally, there seems to be some heat of pain. But actually inside, he is drowning in the, should I say, ice water of joy. His heart is an ice cube of condensed, unbelievably happy state of existence. But just like an ice cube externally sometimes gives you burn, Mahaprabhu has tears. Those tears are dripping in pain, which is the external heat. But inside, in remembering Krishna, he's so happy. That joy, inside joy, creates the separation from him. And that separation invokes the Lord. When we pray to Krishna and we want things from him, it doesn't impress him so much, because that's a business trade. Okay, you do this, okay, I'll give you this. But when we run behind Krishna, my dear Lord, I don't want anything from you, I want you. I want you. And at any cost, I want you. Arpilo tuvapade Nanda Kishore, my dear Lord, I belong to you. If I don't chase you, if I don't find you, where else will I go? Those who say you belong to me, they're all leaving me in so many lifetimes. Those who say that I belong to them, I'm separated from them. And that personality to whom I actually belong, oh Krishna, that's you. You don't pay attention to me. Where else will I go? I'm an orphan. Those who say I belong to them, I actually don't belong to them. And the person I actually belong to, he's not paying any attention. Krishna, why would you leave me like this? When Bilvamangal Thakur, as an old blind sadhu, was held, his hand was held by Gopal, and Gopal in his naughtiness left his hand. Bilvamangal Thakur said, Krishna, don't try to prove your strength by letting go of the hand of an old, blind, helpless man. If you really want to show your strength, try leaving my heart. You cannot. Karagrahe vasasada hridaye madiye. To hold the hand of an old man and let him go, that anybody can do. But now that you've entered my heart, Krishna, show it to me. Prove it to me that you are Bhagavan. Show your strength to me by leaving my heart, and I promise you, you cannot. Why? Because for all times to come, I have handcuffed you in the prison house of my heart with ropes of love. So Damodar Leela is so special for this reason. Why do we take a screenshot of the time when Krishna was punished? Damodar Leela, we don't worship Krishna on the wooden grinding motor. We don't worship Krishna stealing butter. We don't worship Krishna running. He got punished once, and that was framed in every home. Imagine Damodar walking around, and every home, it's only he's tied, and he looks at his mother. And his mother's looking at him and tying him, and he's like crying. That's the only picture. And Krishna would think, right? If it was us, we would think, और कुछ picture मिला नहीं? पूरे जीवन में मैंने यही किया? This is the only thing you found in my life, we would think. But Krishna loves it. Why? Because that picture, that captures the essence of his existence. Krishna is a bumblebee. And the bumblebee can break through wood so easily when it's agitated. But that same bumblebee, when it's stuck in the whirl of a lotus flower, drinking the nectar of that lotus, the petals of the lotus close, and the bumblebee, who has the power to break through logs of wood, becomes so intoxicated in the whirl of the lotus that the bumblebee loses the power to even cut through the petals of that lotus flower, and he gets stuck in that lotus flower happily. Krishna is a bumblebee who, when agitated, can break through the wood of Kamsa and Arishtasur and Dhenukasur and Vatsasur. But when he lands as a bumblebee on the lotus flower of Yashoda Rani's heart and drinks the nectar of her motherly affection, that same bumblebee becomes so pampered and conquered and embraced and loved and kissed by Mother Yashoda that drinking the nectar of her love, he has no power. When the petals of that rope lotus bind him, he loses all strength to free himself. That is what is captured in every devotee's home. Brajvasis love Gopal so much. They reach there, and it is described, Nanda and Yashoda look. The elderly Gopas, the elderly Gopis, including Balaram, they all look and they see there. Cows are dead. Calves are dead. Boys are dead. And Gopal, only face seen. is completely coiled up in the black, thick, gigantic, poisonous coils of Kāliya. Kāliya has gone through from the feet up to the knees, to the waist, to the navel, to the chest, to the neck, and left the face, and then coiled on the top to show the Brajbasis, look at what I have caught today. And Krishna's face is all that they see, which is hanging low with eyes closed. And the Brajbasis look at this image in front of them and they're convinced Krishna is gone, he has departed. All the sweet things Krishna spoke, all the gestures that Krishna had, all the glances that Krishna had, all the smile that Krishna had, all the pranks that he did have started to flash in the hearts of the Brajbasis. They think about how Krishna would come to, the motherly gopis are thinking how Krishna would come to their home and give excuses only to get one palmful of butter. The motherly gopis were looking at Gopal and saying, Gopal, please come back. All that butter is for you. We will make butter for all times to come. You don't have to come to our home. We will come and feed you in your house. Please come out of that pond. Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba, looking at Gopal, they fall on either sides. And the motherly gopis for Yashoda Rani and the elderly gopas for Nanda Baba, they're fanning him and her speaking Krishna Katha to keep them alive. The breathing has become so slow and their lips are quivering. And when you go close to their lips, Nanda and Yashoda are saying, Gopal, Gopal, Gopal. And life has become so slow in their breathing. The whole of Vrindavan is in the state of shock. Some are praying to the Devatas, please do something, please intervene, please do something. Srila Prabhupada writes in one purport, when Krishna left Vrindavan, Mother Yashoda felt so much pain. She wept and wept and wept and wept, remembering her Gopal, that she became blind, Prabhupada writes. Mother Yashoda went blind, remembering her child. One time in the Boston radio, when our iskcon devotees back in Prabhupada's time, they had the thing of reading the Krishna book on the Boston radio. Once a week they would have the schedule where they would read one chapter of Krishna book in a very dramatic style. 2 or 3 narrators. And one time Prabhupada was hearing it live. And one devotee, male, was reading the sections of Krishna and Kāliya, and the female was giving the emotions of Mother Yashoda's pangs of separation. When Prabhupada heard that Mataji weep and cry and wail loudly in separation from Krishna, playing the role of Yashoda Rani, Prabhupada became very grave. And he immediately told the devotees, I want to meet that Mataji. And when she got to know Prabhupada wants to meet her, she became very scared. She entered the room and Prabhupada looked at her and he said, I heard the recording. Prabhupada opened his eyes, moist, full of tears, and he said, please continue to cry like this, following the footsteps of Mother Yashoda, and Krishna will make himself available to you. Who can describe the love that Yashoda Rani has for Gopal? Who can? Who has the power? Traya cha Upanishad bhicha Sankhya Yogaischa Satvataihi Upagiyamanam Mahatmyam Hari Samanyadatmajam. That personality whom the Vedas glorify as Bhagavan, the Upanishads glorify as Bhagavan, the Puranas glorify as Bhagavan, that personality, Mother Yashoda twists his ear and reprimands him and chastises him only so that in the future his character is not tainted and he becomes a gentleman. And some Braja Gopa offers his daughter in marriage to her son. When she gets complained, she's thinking, how are you going to be the king in the future? What kind of king does all this? Krishna, you have to grow up. You're the heir to the throne, to Nanda Maharaj's legacy. What are you doing? Who can think about the reputation of Bhagavan? If mothers in this world, in all species, by the way, not just human beings, in all species, in all walks of life, if mothers are so glorious, Matra Bhakta Shiromani. If mothers are so glorious, can we imagine Yashoda Rani? We can't imagine. She's Damodar Janani. She's the mother of Damodar. She's the only one who can bind Gopal. When complaints come from the neighborhood, she sits and makes Krishna understand. Why do you steal? Is the butter not tasty at home? I will make it for you. You tell me what you want to eat. I will make it here. You eat here. Please don't go out. How much love? Our acharyas describe something very sweet, dear devotees, and I promise you this is one thing you will remember as we disperse out of this discussion. Krishna had a dent on his chin because of Mother Yashoda holding him too much. She would hold Gopal and talk to him so much that he had an imprint of Yashoda's thumb on his chin. Srila Prabhupada writes in Canto 10, Chapter 9, Text 3 purport, those who want to attain Vatsalya Rati, love for Gopal, have to walk in the footsteps of Mother Yashoda's service. Krishnam janam smaran chasya preshta nija samihitam tat tat katharatas chaso kuryad vasam braje sada. So Nanda and Yashoda have so much love. Shrutim apare smritimitare bharatamanye bhajantu bhavabhitaha. Aham iha nandam vande yasyalinde parabrahma. Raghupati Upadhyay, when Mahaprabhu asked him to recite a verse, he said, may the Mahabharat, may all the Shastras, bhajantu bhavabhitaha, may people who fear material existence, may the four Vedas, may all the scriptures glorify Bhagavan Krishna as the Ishtadev. But aham iha nandam vande. My Ishtadev, he said, is Nanda Maharaj, in whose courtyard that Krishna learns to crawl. Nanda Baba holds Damodar, Gopal, by the little finger and teaches him how to walk. Krishna says very proudly on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Paurusham Nrishu, I am the ability in man. But Krishna, where did you get that ability from? He would walk 2 steps and Nanda Baba is holding him by the hand and he's holding to Nanda Baba's little finger, and 2 steps and that grip of Krishna to the little finger of Nanda, it loosens and Krishna falls as Gopal. Achyuta, he who never falls down and he starts to cry. Nanda Maharaj picks him up and says, Gopal, try again, try again, try again. 1 more step, try again, Gopal. Krishna learns to walk and then run and then play mischief by the strength of Nanda and Yashoda's love. How amazing! How amazing is Nanda Baba? It is described Nanda Baba wears a green dress with a long beard. Our Prabhu was saying about the beard of Nanda Baba. Long beard. And Krishna sits on the lap of Nanda Baba all the time. So there are meetings going on in Vrindavan. Meetings going on in Vrindavan, and Nanda Baba, being the leader, the king, he's sitting and he has to listen to everyone. Krishna is sitting on the lap of Nanda Baba and he's looking at everyone as they're talking. He has no clue what's being discussed. They're all speaking big things and Gopal is just sitting. Whoever's beard moves means they're speaking. He's just looking around and suddenly he sees the beard that he's holding on to starts to move. And he looks and Nanda Baba is starting to speak. When Nanda Baba goes to bathe, Krishna wants to go with him. Then when Nanda Baba picks up Gopal, Baldao says, I also want to come. And Nanda Baba so lovingly takes Gopal on one shoulder and Balram on the other shoulder in Nandagram, Pavan Sarovar. Nanda Baba takes Krishna and Balaram at Pavan Sarovar, and one after another he tips them as they bathe. Splashing water at them, bathing them, playing with them. Can we imagine? For us, we are only having flashes of that world. Imagine somebody comes to you and tells you the deity that you worship for the last 30 years is just stone. What would happen? We can't accept someone criticizing a deity in this world who's in the form of our Ishtadev being in the conditioned state. Can you imagine Nanda and Yashoda when they see the supremely loving deity Gopal caught in the coils of Kāliya? It is death. They see in front of their eyes Gopal. There's no struggle even. Gone. He's gone. His eyes are shut. The lotus of his face has completely shriveled. Shukadeva Goswami says, Naga Bhoga Parivitam. When they saw Krishna coiled by Kāliya, adrishta cheshtam, with no movement at all, aloke tat priya sakha pashupa brushartha, the Brajbasis felt so much pain. Why? Krishna arpita, they had offered to Krishna Atma, their life, Surit, their friendship, Artha, everything that's valuable, Kalatra, their family and Kama, all their desires. And that one source, that one object, that one personality that you give everything to, he's gone. Shukadeva Goswami says, Dukkha Anushoka. They were tormented by repeated thunderbolt pangs of suffering and bhaya, fear, and mudha dhiya. They became stunned. When you have so much pain that you even forget to cry and speak, they came to that point, mudha dhiya, their minds froze, and nipetu, with eyes open, all the Brajbasis fell. Srila Sanatana Goswami. Moha magna suridvargam sashru gokula vikshitam mahotpata samudvigna vrajan vishtagatim bhaje. At this strategic point, Sanatana Goswami Pad offers this verse to say, O Krishna, moha magna suridvargam, all the gopas were shot by the arrows of moha, illusion. They were completely in delirium. What's happening? And sa ashru gokula vikshitam, all the cows had dried up tears and they had fainted. And maha utpata samudvigna, whole of Vrindavan was drowning in a great calamity. And vraja anvishtagatim, but they all crawled their way to find he whom, Krishna, bhaje, I worship that Lord. What a verse. Sanatana Goswami is saying, I take shelter of that Krishna, separation from whom caused the whole of Vrindavan so much pain. The motherly gopis, they sing, Sarovare Kāliya Nāgabaddham Shishum Yashoda Tanayam Nishamya Chakro Lutantya Pathi Gopabala. And what did they call out? Sarovare, the Brajbasis saw in the pond, Kāliya Nāgabaddham, Krishna was bound by the coils of Kāliya. And Shishum, how was he? A child. Krishna was a child. Dhenukasur Leela happened later, Kāliya Leela happened first. Krishna is between 6 and 7 years old. And Yashoda Tanayam, who is he? The son of Yashoda. Why the name Yashoda has been said here? Because she cried the most. Chakru Lutantya Pati Gopabala. Motherly gopis and the conjugal gopis both were rolling. But between the two, motherly gopis even more. Lutantyaha, they were rolling on the ground, Chakruhu, crying out, Hey Govind! Hey Damodar! Hey Madhava! Hey Gopal! Hey Krishna! Hey Nandanandan! Hey Yashodanandan! Hey Govind! And the Brajbasis' throats were choking as they were calling out to Krishna. Krishna was intensifying their intensity. My goodness. You have to put milk and you have to keep it on the stove and keep stirring for a long time before you get some sweet. You have to keep stirring. And you have to have it on the stove for a long time. The quantity becomes lesser and lesser and lesser and becomes thicker and thicker and thicker. Of course, with sugar. Krishna puts the milk pot of our hearts on the stove of separation only to make it sweeter and sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. Amidst all this, what is Balaram doing? Shukadev Goswami says Balaram was laughing. Tam tatha kataran vikshya Bhagavan Madhavo Balaha Prahasya kinjinna uvacha Prabhavajño nujasya saha Kataran vikshya, looking at Vrindavan burning in the fire of separation, Bhagavan Madhavo Balaha. Who is being spoken about? Balaram. Shukdev Goswami is not even saying Ram, only Balaha. Rama means he who gives pleasure. Everybody is weeping, fainting, melting, crying, crawling. And what is he doing? Prahasya. What does hasa mean? And prahasa mean? To laugh loudly. Everybody is weeping, fainting, crying, dying, and Balaram goes, Prahasya. And not just that, Shukadev Goswami says, Kinjinna uvacha. He didn't speak a word. Uvachas to speak. Na uvacha. Nothing. Kinjinna uvacha. He didn't even say, don't worry, Krishna will be safe. Kinjinna uvacha. Shukadev Goswami is getting so angry according to the commentators. First of all, you're laughing. Secondly, you don't speak a word. Prahasya kinjinna uvacha. Arey Balaram. No Ram, only Bala. Only strength. You're not giving pleasure to anyone. And Bhagavan. Because why? Sarcastic comment. Because Bhagavan never gets affected by the dualities of this world. So if somebody is equipoised, then you say, oh, Bhagavan must be super soul. Akhila Dehinam Antaratma Drik. The gopis tell Krishna, you are not the son of Yashoda. You are Paramatma. Seems like glorification, but it is sarcastic criticism, taunt. The gopis are telling Krishna, we are burning in the fire of separation and you're not coming out to help us. So you must be the super soul. Because when the jiva drowns in the water of his tears or burns in the fire of separation, the Paramatma doesn't come out and help. You're not coming out and helping. You must be Paramatma. You cannot be the son of Yashoda because Yashoda Rani is so soft-hearted and the fruit always falls very close to the tree. If you are her son, one calf cries and you must come out here. Shata Koti Gopi, so many gopis are crying and you're still hiding. You must be the Paramatma. You cannot be the son of Yashoda. And also you hide and you can see us, but we can't see you. We don't know where you are, but you know where we are. Exactly like Paramatma. Paramatma hides and he sees us and we can't see him. Nakhalu gopika nandano bhavan. Krishna, you are not the son of Yashoda. Akhila dehinam antaratmadrik. Sarcasm. Shukadeva Goswami is using the same policy. Bhagavan. Oh, ho, ho. Prahasya kinjinna uvacha. Balaram is not speaking a word. And the word used is Madhava. Our acharyas have taken different meanings out of this word, and they say, first of all, why is Balaram not speaking a word? Why is he laughing? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, Balaram is laughing. Vah re vah, Krishna, wow, wow, amazing, amazing, oh, amazing. Oh, what drama going on here, huh? Amazing. That little water snake has encoiled you and the whole of Vrindavan believes it. Amazing. You want me to believe it. Oh, what drama. Chakravarti Pad writes, Balram is laughing in disbelief at Krishna's dramatic stage presence. And he also says, Balaram is laughing for this reason, that when I come as Anantashesh, you are in Yoga Nidra. Mahavishnu. I come in full potency and all that you do with me is sleep. And you create in your sleep. And when a little insignificant water snake, a member of my family comes in, look at what you're planning to do with him. Amazing. Samoham sarva bhuteshu. You're equal to everyone, huh? Sri Sanatana Goswami Pad writes, Madhava. Madhava comes from the word Madhu. Shukdev Goswami is saying, after all, Balaram may have been intoxicated with some Varuni, some Madhu, and he may be completely drunk. And what do you expect from a drunkard person? When everyone is crying, he is laughing. What do you expect from him? Madhava. Oh, he must be drunk under the transcendental influence of the honey wine liquor called Varuni. Or Madhu also means Mathura. Shukdev Goswami in anger, according to the commentators, Shukdev Goswami in anger, he's saying, after all, Balaram was born in Mathura. What do you expect out of him? What does a Mathura Vasi know about the love of the Brajvasis? Yatha Raja Tatha Praja. Mathura has the king called Kamsa. So if the king is like that, those born in Mathura, you will expect them to have the same mood. Shukadeva Goswami is saying, Madhava, and the commentators write that because he was born in Mathura, he's called Madhava. And Shukadeva Goswami in sarcastic anger, he feels, okay, those in Mathura, what do they know about the feelings of the Brajbasis? We Brajbasis are crying when Krishna is encoiled. What does he know? He's laughing. Let him laugh. And Kinjinna Uvacha. If you can't pacify and you're not going to say a word, at least don't laugh. In anger, he's saying, Prahasya kinjinna uvacha. Why? Prabhavatnyaha. He knows the effect. Whose effect? Anujasya. He knows the effect. He knows the power of his younger brother Krishna. And therefore, he is not saying anything. You may think for a long time we have kept Krishna in the coils of Kāliya. What is this speaker doing? He puts Krishna in the coils of Kāliya and he goes around beating the bush and talking other topics. I had to do this because Krishna was in the coils of Kāliya for many hours. And if I had done this in the morning session till the evening session, we have to keep him in the coils. So at least as service, I kept him, fulfilled his desire for some time. Krishna, you be in the coils if that's what you want. And why does he want to be in the coils? Srila Sanatana Goswami explains. He says in the commentary that Kāliya was so, this is one side of the story, that Kāliya was so attracted to Krishna. When he came from underwater, Prekshaniya Sukumara Ghanavadatam, the verse says that he saw the most beautiful form of Krishna. And then and there Kāliya had a change of heart. And he told Krishna, according to Srila Sanatana Goswami, my dear Lord, there is nothing I can offer you. Please accept my encoiling as my embrace, and please accept my biting as my kisses. Srila Sanatana Goswami says Kāliya offered this to Krishna, and Krishna remained in the coils of Kāliya to reciprocate with Kāliya's love. Now you feel better? But at the same time, because this is causing hurt to the Brajbasis, Krishna was opening his eyes to see if, you see, if somebody's a A-grade performer, he wants to see that it's house full. So Krishna was, keep it going, keep it going. He was trapped in the coils waiting for everyone to come. And when he opened his eyes and he saw people from Barsana were already there, as Krishna saw that those whom he was doing this pastime for, they were already there, he decided it was now time for the dance of divinity. Little by little, Krishna started expanding. Kāliya had squeezed Krishna completely. He was getting it tighter and tighter and tighter, and Krishna was there. Okay. And little by little, he started expanding. Ambodhi sthalatam, sthalam jaladitam, dhuli lava shailatam, shaila mritkanatam, trinam kulishatam, vajrat trinakshenatam, vahni sheetalatam, himam dahanatam, ayati yasyechaya, leela durlalitadbhuta vyasanine, krishnaya tubhyam namaha. Sri Rupa Goswami, he says, Krishna, you are so powerful. Ambodhi sthalatam, you can make water into land. And sthalam jaladitam, and you can make land into water. Krishna can take water and make it into land, and take land and make it into water. And dhuli lava shailatam, he can take some dust and abracadabra and make it into a mountain. And shaila mritkanatam, he can throw his thunderbolt and shatter the mountain and make it to dust. Trinakulishatam, vajrat trinakshenatam, he can take grass and make it into a thunderbolt. See the pastime of Jayanta. And he can take thunderbolt and make it into an insignificant blade of grass. Vahni sheetalatam, himam dahanatam, Krishna can take forest fire and make it into the Himalayas, ice cold. And he can take block of ice and make it blazing hot like a forest fire. Ayati yasyechaya, Krishna can do whatever he wants. But in Krishna Leela, it's different. Because in every Leela, he can do all this. Nrsimha can also do this. Ramachandra can also do this. But in Krishna Leela, there is a special peculiarity. All of this power with a restless, mischievous mind. That makes Krishna Leela so much more sweeter. In this world, kids are sweet, but they're not great. They are not the greatest. And the Lord in all his incarnation is the greatest, but not necessarily the sweetest. But Krishna Leela is so beautiful, where the greatest Lord comes and manifests and exhibits his sweetest form. Now that Krishna, who was helplessly trapped in the coils of Kāliya, little by little, Anavaniyan, Mahato Mahiyan, little by little he started expanding and increasing his size, and Kāliya was trying his little bit to hold on, not knowing who he's competing with. And as his grip was getting tighter and tighter and tighter, he was on the verge of bursting. So he loosened up. Krishna slipped out of those coils and he went underwater, and Kāliya started looking. Krishna put his head up and he said, "Here I am." And life came back into the bodies of the Brajbasis when they heard the voice of Krishna. And one Brajbasi after another, they started waking others. "Did you hear Krishna's voice?" "Krishna? Where?" And they saw in front of them breath came back into the body of Vrindavan as they saw Krishna in front of them, swimming, joking, laughing, and splashing water in joy. He was playing around. And he was again back to the old story. It's described, Krishna looked at Kāliya. Our acharyas describe, Krishna looked at Kāliya and he said, here. Why don't you try here? Marmasu, this is very soft, try here. And Kāliya, poof, he lunged in and as soon as just missed by a whisker. Krishna slipped and he said, oh, you tried? Oh, then why don't you try here? And Kāliya's serpent hissing, tongue flittering in and out in anger. So much poison, so much breathing, so much drama, so much fire, so much anger, so much venom all over the place, so much envy. Looking at Krishna, Kāliya goes again, he lunges in and Krishna missed. And Krishna said, just by a whisker, just, that's it. Maybe this hair. Why don't you try here? Marma Surusham. One part after another, Krishna was taking the soft part of his body. Why don't you try here? Why don't you try here? Okay, why don't you try here? And every time Kāliya was trying and he was just this so close and he would miss. Can you imagine how irritating it is? Where you are the king of serpents, you claim the pond to be yours, and in front of your disciples, you with 1,000 hoods are attacking a 6-year-old child who has his cowherd family cheering after him. And every time you try, you miss by a hair strand. Missed a whisker. That's all. That's it. Krishna looked at Kāliya. And he said, okay, come on, try. How about you try here? Come on, you try here. And Krishna started going in circles. And Kāliya with all his hoods, he started moving. And Krishna started moving. And they were both trying to do parikramas. Krishna was going so fast. And Kāliya was trying to lunge ahead and try to bite Krishna. But he couldn't bite and spin and encircle and use strength all at the same time because Krishna was laughing at him. That's it? What speed is that? You think I'm really afraid of that? Come on, try harder. Splashing more water. Come on, you're the king. Come on, try harder. And Kāliya is getting even more angry. And it's described as Krishna goes in circles and circles and circles and circles, making Kāliya go exhausted. It was devastating crash of defeat for his ego. Where is this? You don't even get to bite your opponent, and that opponent is going so fast that you feel dizzy even before you started. And by this, what was happening is the poison rose so much that there was a high tide of venom in the Yamuna. And Krishna was now surfing in the poison high tide of the Yamuna caused by the disciples of Kāliya. They were putting him on a Vyasasana. And Krishna came so close to Kāliya and he was getting exhausted. And in no time, Krishna kicked a hood and the hood came up. Krishna said, oh, you got hurt? But when you did, I didn't. Try again. I'll show you how it is done. Krishna would kick again and another hood would come out. One after another, Kāliya was going mad. Krishna came so close to Kāliya, it is described. He caught hold of the lower tail of Kāliya, and with the next wave of poison, Krishna jumped on the top. He jumped on the top of the hood of Kāliya. Now Kāliya couldn't even see Krishna. Till now he was able to see him, try to lunge in and bite him, try to spread poison, try to go in circles, but he could see Krishna. But now Krishna with the lower tail of Kāliya, with the surfing of the high tide, got up to the top. And now when Kāliya was on the top, Krishna was on the top of Kāliya, Krishna began dancing. And it's described how graceful was his dancing. Krishna was so graceful on the hoods of Kāliya. He had ankle bells. He had bracelets. He had nice moving earrings. And Krishna was a very graceful dancer. He was so graceful. Every step was so graceful. His postures, his mudras, his eye movements, his eyebrow movements, his facial expressions. And as he was moving, it is described with every step that Krishna was taking, he was counting the beat cycle and dancing. But for Kāliya, every step was like thunderbolt. Thunderbolt hit on the head. Every step. Krishna is so wonderful. That which is soft for the gopis is thunderbolt for Kāliya. Ye yathamam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham. Krishna was dancing. And it is described. Evam paribhramahato jasamunnatamsam Anamya tat pruthushiraswadhirudha adyaha Tanmurdharatna nikara sprashati tamra Padambujokhila kaladi gurur nanartha. Shukdev Goswami says in this way, paribhrama, going in circles, paribhrama. Krishna went so fast in circles, hata ojasam. Kāliya became tired just with this circle pastime. His head was moving in circles. And unnatamsam, taking the weakness of Kāliya's exhaustion to be the weakness in his fighting spirit, Krishna unnatamsam got onto the stage of Kāliya's head. Anamya. Kāliya didn't bow down, but Krishna made him bow down. He stood on top of Kāliya's head. Tat pruthushira adhirudha. Krishna got up. Why? Adyaha, because he's the first original Supreme Lord. Tanmurdha ratna nikara sparsha ati tamra padambujo akhila kaladi guru. What a term. Shukadev Goswami says, Krishna's feet are so reddish. Kāliya had red rubies on his head. He had jewels, red rubies on his head. But when Krishna was dancing, the touch of the reddish sole of Krishna's feet, which is sparsha ati tamra padambuja, the touch of the extremely reddish soles of the lotus feet, that touch made the red rubies on the head of Kāliya shine even more, because the rubies started getting the red color from Krishna's feet. And how wonderful, between the dark sky and the gloomy weather and the dark complexion Krishna and the dark complexion Kāliya and the dark complexion Yamuna, the red lotus feet and the red rubies are shining and competing with one another. Wow. Who's that person who would not fall in love with Srimad Bhagavatam? How wonderful. Aho ashcharyam, aho chitram, aho vichitram. How astonishing. Krishna, when he was dancing, it is described. Every step that he was taking, it was so meticulous. You see, mridanga players, they play the tihai at the end of a certain line. You go, ki nana didi nana kina kina didi nana tere kit dhinna dha, tere kit dhinna dha, tere kit dhinna dha. That's the end of the tihai there. What Krishna would do is, as he's dancing on the hoods of Kāliya, he would say the mantra that he's dancing. And when the tihai would come, so he's dancing, he's saying the mantras and dancing. And when Kāliya would raise his hood, exactly that would match with the last beat of the tihai, and Krishna would go. Krishna would kick the hood of Kāliya to match with the last beat of the tihai. He would go, tere kita dhinna dha, tere kita dhinna dha, tere kita dhinna dha. And it's described as Krishna would dance, he also got in some instruments with him in the form of his ankle bells, in the form of his bangles. So what he would do, it said Krishna would jump from one hood to another, from that hood to another, from that hood to another. And he would keep clapping. And he would spin, get onto another. He would give different clap cycles, and sometimes it was bangles, and sometimes it was ankle bells. He was so graceful with the tinkling, the jingling of his ankle bells, with the clap, with the mantras, with the grace, with the postures, with the overall equilibrium of his body, with the movement of his eyes, the movement of his eyebrows. He's communicating to the Brajbasis. Look at that. Did you see that? I'll do that again. And he's saying, and he's chanting the Tehai, and Kāliya is the stage. And as Kāliya is being hit with every graceful step, Kāliya is thinking, okay, now he's dancing on me. Now I'm going to hiss even more and spit all the poison possible. And as he rises and takes his hood up, Krishna goes, Tere kita dhinna dha, tere kita dhinna dha, tere kita dhinna. And Kāliya is spinning, and it's described poison coming out of his mouth, fire coming out of his mouth, blood coming out of his mouth, his eyes, his nose. And as Krishna was dancing, the Devatas looked. Time for Kirtan. It's described by the Acharyas, the Devatas came down. Narad Muni came with his veena. As Krishna was dancing, Narad Muni was playing his veena. It's described Indra got the mridanga to match up with the Tehai. He was learning. Oh, sorry, wrong hand. Indra was practicing mridanga. It is described amidst all this, Shivaji came with his damru. And he was also dancing in joy. Narad Muni bajaye veena, he's playing his veena, Indra is playing his mridanga. The Gandharvas were singing different ragas. And as they were changing the raga, Krishna was changing the steps, and then Krishna was changing the steps and they were changing the raga. Different moods, different beat cycles, different rhythms, different graceful complications. And all of this on moving, small, cupped, slippery stage. Krishna's dancing on the hoods and the Devatas are playing. Gandharvas start to sing. But there's only one section who are not doing anything. Those are the Apsaras. Because that's time for them to take notes. Right foot, not the left foot, right. It seems like left, but it's actually right. Oh no, it's right or left? Right. Okay. And then the ankle bell, this ankle bell. No, that's just normal. Okay. They're taking notes, and Krishna's going so fast, and he goes, and the head of Kāliya, it's described, it's crashing, blood oozing, skin is being torn as Krishna's dancing. It's splitting from the center. Red blood is mixing with dark waters of the Yamuna, and it's described that there were purple streaks of Kāliya's surrender to Krishna's lotus feet as the last signature of his presence in the Jamuna, given out in the presence of the Brajbasis. As all of this is going on, it is described that Kāliya became so tired. Krishna was dancing. He was getting tired, but his false ego was as fresh as ever. His one hood was cracking, and Krishna was subduing. I was finding for a word with the "sa." Krishna was subduing the serpent, and one hood after another, and another hood comes out. And so much anger in the eyes. I wish I could kill you. And Krishna said, really? And with that hood, Krishna jumped on the proud hood and one after another, and the hood started splitting, cracking, blood oozing, poison all over the place, and it became humble. Another hood came out. With this as the stage, Krishna jumped onto another hood and started subduing it. Kāliya became the stage of the most graceful, sweet performer of Vrindavan. Melpattur Narayana Bhattadri writes, Adhiruhya tata phaniraja phanan, adhiruhya tata nandrite bhavata mridupadarucha. Kāliya puramanjumila karakankana sankula sankwanitam. Can we all sing together, please? One heart, one voice. Adiruhya tata phaniraja phanan, nandrite bhavata mridupadarucha. Kāliya Narayana Bhattadri writes, Krishna, Adiruhya tata phaniraja phanan. You made the head of Kāliya as your dancing stage. Adiruhya, you got up from one hood to another. And nandrite, how gracefully you were dancing. It didn't seem like punishment. You actually gave the greatest good fortune to Kāliya. Think about it. Bali Maharaj gets one step from Vaman Dev, and Bali Maharaj becomes a Mahajan. Ahalya gets one step from Ramachandra, and she becomes Parasi Jazupat Pankaja Dhuri Tari Ahalya Kritaga Bhuri. She becomes eternally glorious. Think about Kevat, the boatman in Ramalila. Ramachandra said, can you cross me across the Ganga? And he said, I just heard recently of the story where you stepped on a stone and the stone became a lady. I have 2 daughters. I want to get them married. My wife said till the time, and this is back in Ram Leela, arranged marriage. The boatman said, my wife has told me till the time I don't find 2 suitable boys who could be husbands for my daughters, I can't come home. So now if you step on my boat with your history, the boat will melt and become a lady, and she will be my 3rd daughter. Oh Ramachandra, I am ready to take you on the boat, but I want to take all the dust from the sole of your feet. If you agree to do that, then I can let you in. Kevat, this boatman was the most intelligent boatman ever. He washed the lotus feet of Ramachandra, took all that dust, diluted that with more water, sprinkled on everyone. There was a whole sprinkling abhishek, holy going on there. Everyone was drinking the water, sprinkling, bathing in that abhishek. And Ramachandra said, is that okay? He said, the gross dust is out now, but there are some still subtle dust. If I can do it once more. Ramachandra said, okay. He washed the feet of Ramachandra again and sprinkled the water all over, and then drank that water, decorated his head with that water, led Ramachandra on that boat and crossed Ramachandra across the Ganga. The poets in Ram Leela, they write, as the boatman was crossing Ram across the river, Ram was crossing the boatman across the ocean of cycle of birth and death. Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ramachandra Bhagavan ki. We are preparing the ground for next year's Rasa-Cintāmaṇi. One step on the stone, Ahalya became glorious. One step into the boatman became glorious. One lotus footprint on the head of Bali Maharaj, he became a Mahajan. What to speak of the glories of Kāliya? He didn't ask for the Lord. He didn't do any bhajan. The Lord broke into his home and gave him mercy. Melpattur Narayana Bhattadri writes, my dear Lord, when you dance on the hoods of Kāliya, Mrudu Pada Rucha, beautiful feet, beautiful steps, graceful dancing. And Kalasinchita Nupura Manju Milat, Krishna, you dancing, mixing the sound of your ankle bells with the sound of the gushing water, with the right spin, with the right posture. The overall grace of the dance is enriched by the sound of your ankle bells and your bracelets. You're using your bracelets, you're using your ankle bells, and as you're dancing, your earrings are taking this opportunity to swing and kiss your chubby cheeks. Wow. How amazing. How amazing. And as Krishna is dancing from one hood to another, it gives us this important principle in life, that we are all like Kāliyas, and we need to stamp every hood of our mind with the pastimes, the names, the qualities of Krishna. Sometimes we think, Putana, I have heard it. Damodar Leela, I have heard it. But we need to imprint that same pastime on all those 1,000 hoods of our mind. Again and again and again and again. Krishna danced gracefully on the hoods of Kāliya, giving every hood a chance to be embedded or imprinted by the signs and symbols of his lotus feet. Same lotus feet imprinted again and again and again. We need to have that spirit of imprinting the same pastime, the same Mahamantra, the same morning program, the same process, the same katha. We are not here to hear newer information. We are here to have newer transformation. May that day come when we hear the pastime of Damodar Leela, and at the end of it, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit at Tota Gopinath, we feel, let's do it once more. Let's hear this once more. Let's read this once more. 108 times they read the 7th canto. 108 times they read the pastimes of Dhruva and Prahlad. The lotus footprint of Krishna for us is Srimad Bhagavatam. For us is the Mahamantra. For us is the process of bhakti. Let's imprint that same thing, not bringing in newer inventions, not bringing in newer content, but the same thing with newer enthusiasm. Let's give Krishna all our hoods, so that that same Leela can imprint himself or herself again and again in our lives. The same Hare Krishna Mahamantra, it doesn't change. Wonderful Prabhupada disciples who are there in this community and around the world, they have been chanting the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra for 50 years. And you see them, they're still enthusiastic to chant the same Mahamantra. It's nothing new. Not one syllable or word more, not one syllable or word less, the same thing. They are teaching us that we should offer the Kāliya hoods of our mind the opportunity to be imprinted by the same Leela of Krishna. And then we can go on and on from one hood to another, to another, to another, smashing the envious serpent of Kāliya within. And at this point, the acharyas pray. Namati yadyadamusya shiro hare, namati yadyadam parivihaya tadunnatam Parimathan pada pankaruhachiram Vyaratha kalatala manoharam. One voice together. Namati yad amusha shiro hare parivihaya tadunnatam unnatam parimathan pada pankaruhachiram vyaharatha karata. Oh ho ho. Namati, O Krishna. The Acharya is right. I loved how you danced. Namati yadyat amushya shiro hare. Whichever head dipped first, my dear Lord. Parivihaya tad unnatam unnatam. If the head dipped in humility, you would let that head go. And the head which was rising in pride, unnatam unnatam. The head which was going higher and higher, you would grab out of that head. And parimathan padapankaruhachiram, you kept churning the mercy of your lotus feet on that head. And karatala manoharam. And as you were doing this with your palms, you were giving the beat. Krishna was counting, he was saying the rhythm of the dancing steps. He was looking at the Brajbasis and he was telling them, now look. And he jumped to another and he was clapping, getting their attention, communicating. Nagapatnis are watching. This is amazing. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, the Nagapatnis were praying, may our husband die today. Because he's so envious. He can't have a better moment in life. They were saying something very close. They were praying to Krishna. May this envious serpent Kāliya die today because he's so toxic. This is the best moment of his life. But guess what happened? Kāliya started having a change of heart and he was becoming more and more humble. And now he was offering his hoods. My dear Lord, you missed this. My dear Lord, can you imprint this? I have got imprints all over my body, my dear Lord. Can you imprint here? In short, he was having a Krishna conscious tattoo. Kāliya had a change of heart and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, the Nagapatnis now started praying, no, my dear Lord, don't kill him. He is now becoming a devotee. May he live forever. May he have this devotion forever. And may we be in his association forever. And as they were praying, Krishna, who was dancing so gracefully, it was getting so scary. Everybody's looking, but then suddenly it came out to be the victory of Krishna as Kāliya became the surrendered servant. You know, in Hindi, what is sar? In Hindi, what do you mean by sar? Sar means head. So in simple words, sar under is Kāliya. Surrender is Kāliya. He's putting his sar, head, under Krishna's feet. Sar under. And as he was doing this, the Brajbasis were clapping. In fact, the Gopas, they were all playing their bugle as if that was like a little instrumentation and the little support system, ornamentation to Krishna's dancing. The Devatas were offering flowers. It was coming down like raindrops. They were flowers. But as soon as the Brajbasis would look, it would become a raindrop. Because if the Brajbasis saw flowers, they would think, sometimes when Krishna would perform pastimes and the Devatas would offer flowers, the friends would ask Krishna, where are these flowers coming from? And Krishna would say, you see this tree? It's a very tall tree, the flowers are coming from there. And the friends would say, okay. And they would continue to play. Another friend would say, but that is a different tree and this is a different flower. And Krishna would say, why do you worry so much? Let's play. and they would get distracted. But here all Brajbasis are there. They're looking up and the flowers are coming down. As soon as they look, it becomes raindrops. Can you imagine moist, small drizzling raindrops wetting Krishna's body? He looks like a rain cloud who's being showered with rain. A rain cloud who came from there, came to the ground, went on top of the Kadamba tree, and now jumped into the lake, now on top of the hoods of the king of serpents, and he's getting rain showered by the Devatas. And as this is happening, the Nagapatnis come in front of Krishna with folded palms, and that we will see tomorrow in the ultimate session of the dance of divinity, the prayer of the Nagapatnis, the deliverance of Kāliya, the victory of Krishna in our lives. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaura Premanande, Jai Jai Shri